Hello, I'm Kabalama and welcome to episode 19 of Rule the Waves 2 Let's Play Japan. And we're building our new ship, the Yamato, which is a 66,000 ton battle cruiser. Let's have a look and see what the British have got again. They've still got this invincible building and they've still got these same ships here building. We'll look at the Russians. They've got a Navarin and they're building 4 more. That's 9 16-inch guns, 29 knots, roughly equivalent to our Nagatos. 8 13-inch guns, that's a bit of a poor ship. These are all 14 13-inch guns. This has got 16-inch guns, it's a decent speed and also well armoured. So the Tsarevich is actually a decent ship. And let's have a look at the Americans in case we end up being at war with them. They've got quite a lot in terms of ships, haven't they? They've got 400 and... oh, maybe we should go to war with the Americans. I mean, when you take our Yamato into consideration, they won't have much more in the way of battle cruisers than us, battle cruiser tonnage, or battleship tonnage. They will have a bit more, but not vastly more. We can certainly deal with them. They're building a 78,000 ton battleship, which will probably be armed with 18-inch guns. They've already got some ships with 18-inch guns. In fact, the Alabama fought on our side in a recent battle. That's quite a nice ship. It's well armed with 18-inch guns, fast at 27 knots, fast-ish, and with a decent belt, 14-inch. So that's not a bad ship at all. Their most recent battle cruiser is the Yorktown, 8 16-inch guns, 28 knots. So that's very similar to the Nagatos. It's not a particularly wonderful ship. It's an okay ship without being anything special. They've got a load of old ships with 12 and 13-inch guns as well. Some with 14-inch guns, which we don't care too much about. So that while they're okay, let's have a look at their heavy cruisers. 10 10-inch guns. Again, that's less than ours, which have got 12. We've got 16 guns. If we look at our heavy cruisers, the Kako class, they've got 16 9-inch guns, so they're a little bit better. Okay, so it's going to be war with... we can't conquer anything from the Russians anymore, but we can from the Americans or the British. So I want a war against Britain now. Let's bump the intelligence against Britain up all the way. A war with Germany wouldn't be bad, because we could get Borneo. An anti-US rebellion has broken out in Puerto Rico. Okay. The British Navy is putting strange mattress-like antennas on their ships, which is early radar. Do we want to export arms to the Asian mainland? Yes. Because we don't care about tension. That's why we've got a bit of higher tension with the Germans. Happy to fight a war against the Germans. Let's see what the German Navy is. 180 plus 338. They don't seem to be much particularly bigger than us. They've got quite a lot of ships that are rebuilding. Germany has battleships that are rebuilding and aircraft carriers. So let's have a look what their most modern battleship is. The Ostfriedland with 10 12-inch guns. A lot of these have got 12 or 13-inch guns. These have got 13-inch guns. The most modern battle cruiser is 8 16-inch guns and 30 knots. Again, roughly equivalent to the Nagatos. They're okay, but they're nothing special. I'm sure we could beat them if we had a few more destroyers. Which reminds me, I need to build destroyers. Maybe I should have built a smaller battleship than the Yamato. If I had, then I would have been able to build some destroyers as well. But I think as soon as this one is close to building, we're going to start building destroyers as well. Okay, so the Anson has 9 16-inch guns, 27 knots, and a 13-inch belt. So our security arrangement with the USA has expired. Well, that doesn't bother me. Brandenburg, 9 16-inch guns, 13-inch belt. Again, very similar to that British ship we saw. New fighter. It's faster and it's more manoeuvrable, so yes. And let's have a look. Can we build dive bombers? No, we can't. Has anyone else got a dive bomber? Yeah, this always seems to happen to me. The other countries always seem to get dive bombers before me, and I don't know why. Let's see if we can buy one from the Americans. Can we buy that? Yes, we can. Okay. So we've built a license for that dive bomber. Now, we'll see how good it is. 200 knots, and it's got one 800-pound gun. So let's have a look at our air group. And so I've changed a lot of my aircraft on aircraft carriers to dive bombers. I've also reduced some of the aircraft on my air bases. That's just to save a bit of money. We've now got a monthly balance of 1,300, which we're going to use to build destroyers at some point. I'm going to wait till the Yamato is 14 months away from completion, then build destroyers. We need that technology. Improved dive bombers. Can we build dive bombers? Yes. And the first priority is bomb load, and the second priority will be, I think, reliability. So that's good. At some point I'd like to build another aircraft carrier. What I'd like to build is something a bit like our Kaga, but I'm going to want to, see that's fairly lowly armoured already, get rid of these guns, and so the 14-inch guns would have to now be the main armament. Keep 14-inch. And obviously this would be maxed out. And what I'd like to do is increase the air capacity to something like 72 aircraft. Just gives me a lot more air, and that's just a bigger aircraft carrier. 2 torpedo defence. See, there's the two ways you could build aircraft carriers. You can either build them as well armed as possible, or you can build them as cheap as possible, because that costs 53,000. Can I put the cost down a little? And then we've got a ship that can give out blows but not receive them. Very similar in concept to the actual Soryu carrier that the Japanese built. So it's 18,000 tons with a capacity of 72 aircraft. It's got a decent strike on it, but it's not very well defended. So that's what one concept. Another concept will be, and that will cost 43,000. But having a much heavier ship with, give it a 2-inch belt and a 2-inch deck, we'll give it an extra knot of speed. Still keep the 72 armament. See, it's not vastly more expensive. That's probably a better bet. The extra survivability. Anyway, we can't do that yet because we don't have the money. If we had lots of extra money, see, we've got our budget of 21,000 a month. Only 7,000 can go into construction because we've got so many other responsibilities for intelligence, naval aircraft, maintenance, etc. It's a bit of a shame, but if you don't have a vastly big budget, we've got 252. Germany, Britain, even France, Russia, USA, even Italy's only slightly behind us. So, let's press on. 9 16-inch guns, 57,000 tons. We should strengthen our air defences to guard against long-range airborne bombing. That gives us more money. That does nothing. And that reduces tension and prestige. Okay, we want money. And we've now got lots of extra money. So I'm going to wait a couple of moves and then I'm going to start building destroyers. Fixed zone AA barrage, by all means. National prestige, yes. I'll give another move, and now it's time. Oh, that's an interesting ship. So that's got 12 14-inch guns, so it's got lots of barrels. 14 inches is not wonderful by modern standards. The deck is very thin, and it's not particularly fast, but in its day it was a very decent ship, and it's still nothing to be sniffed at. It's time for us to build destroyers. So let's have a look at what our best destroyer is currently and what we can build. Okay, so the Hatsusei is similar to the Gattori, but what I've done is I've changed the calibre from 4 inches to 5 inches of the main armament, so that makes them a better ship against enemy destroyers. I've also increased the torpedo armament from 8 torpedo tubes to 12, and I've got fairly heavy anti-aircraft armament. Obviously the main armament is dual purpose as well. Can I have better directors? No, I can't. And it's got mines and K-guns. Does it like that? That's all okay. So that's got a very heavy torpedo armament, and it's also fast. I've got quite a lot of weight remaining, so I'm going to give it increased depth charge storage as well. So that's okay, and we're going to start building them next month. And the first batch of those will finish at the same time as the Yamato. Brandenburg. Go to build screen. Hatsusei. And so that's 7 Hatsuseis being built. When the Yamato is finished, which will be about the same time as this first batch of them, then we can build some more, and we can also look into building submarines and other craft. And maybe an aircraft carrier. We need good guns. 10-inch gun, quality 1. 16-inch gun, quality 1. That would have been nice for our Yamato. We may put that on the next battleship. International Naval Gathering with Sailing Regatta and Competition. Excellent. Dive bomber prototypes. Now these give us a much heavier bomb load, so that's a very good thing to have. And this one seems to be the longest range. The longest range of heavy is here, but that's less manoeuvrable. It is quite tough. I think I might go for that one. New torpedo bomber. And so now that we've got better aircraft, I think that when the Yamato completes, we'll be building a new aircraft carrier or two. By all means. Ambassador for France has approached the Minister of the Navy with suggesting that we curb our naval programme. I'm not going to call a disarmament conference because that might involve the scrapping of the Yamato, which I definitely don't want. Do I want to go to war rather than agree to naval limitations? Well, if it is a war, it'll either be France or Germany, which I'm not really fussed with. Reduction in tensions will be welcome. That also reduces budget, so I can't really go for that. Early surface search radar, that's good. We've got a bit more budget, which is definitely a good thing. Haha, we can never trust Germany to keep agreements. Better arm for conflict and beat them soundly. Or, we should take this opportunity to promote better understanding between our nations. Actually, I'd like to wait for 10 months until that Yamato has completed. What's Germany building? They're not building any battleships. They're not building any CVs or CVLs. What are they building? They've got quite a lot of destroyers. They've got 45 destroyers. Actually, is Germany building anything? Are they building 3 battleships? Well, that's interesting. It says here they aren't building battleships. Who knows? Maybe that's a bug, maybe it isn't. I'm very tempted to say, or should we promote better understanding? See, that reduces budget, and that increases budget. I think we need the increased budget. That gives us more money. More money equals more destroyers. And so that's 4 extra destroyers, which we'll complete in 16 months' time. Windfall and tax revenues. How should we spend the money? If we strengthen the Navy, that gives us budget and prestige, but also increases tension, which would probably mean a war with Germany. Railroads increases budget, but not prestige or tension. Social programs, that increases budget, but reduces prestige. So I'm going to build railroads. I don't want a war with Germany right now. It'd be nice to have one later on. We don't want to get upset with a little spying, because we don't want war with France and Germany at the same time. And similarly, we don't want a conflict with Britain. We want to fight one opponent at a time. So it looks like our next opponent is going to be Germany, and I want it to happen when the Yamato is finished. Handle it quietly and discreetly. Brandenburg, 9 16-inch guns, we've already seen that ship. Face hardening, decremental shelling technique. We've now got missile technology, and we've got a new dive bomber, which means that we definitely need new aircraft carriers, which we'll be able to start building in 6 months' time. And a war has broken out between Japan and Germany. Okay, so let's see what happens here. So that's increased our monthly balance, and I think we need to mobilise. And that's decreased our balance somewhat, which is a shame. But the Yamato will be finished fairly soon. That's 4 months. So 4 months times 7,000 is 28,000, so that we won't run out of money altogether. I'd like to build more submarines, but the first thing we need to do is put these ships into trade protection. That gives us 20 instead of 19, so let's put another 2 destroyers into trade protection as well. So that puts us 3 over what we need, and let's see what we've got. Where are the Germans? The Germans are all in Southeast Asia, which is excellent, or at least they've got a good force there. 2 heavy cruisers, 2 light cruisers, which is frankly pathetic. It's got 3 aircraft carriers, that's good, and they've also got 2 battle cruisers as well. So I'm quite pleased with that, because it's a decent sized force, but one that's weaker than us. So what I'm going to do, because the computer opponents, they tend not to want to fight you, and so the computer opponents tend not want to fight you particularly if you've got much more stronger forces in a region than them. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put these 3 in mothballs. These are old ships that are not particularly useful. The Akoma and Satsuma are also fairly slow old ships. I think I'm going to put those in mothballs as well. There is a method to my madness which I will explain. That reduces our deficit, which is something we need to do. Now if we look, the Germans here have got 3 aircraft carriers, and here they've got 2 battle cruisers. So I'm going to put 3 battleships and 4 aircraft carriers into here. That's my 4 most modern battleships. They can all go into Southeast Asia. And I'm going to put the Kako and the Katori, that's our 2 heavy cruisers, which we definitely want. And I'm going to put all of our modern class of Agano light cruisers. I also put 2 of these Nagamis in as well. So we've got lots of light cruisers, and I'm going to put all our aircraft carriers except the Osama and the Taizen Maru there as well. So that's a very powerful force. And then I'm also going to put in a lot of these destroyers, and maybe some more destroyers as well. I'll put a few old destroyers in too, and they can all go to Southeast Asia. So we've got a load of forces in Southeast Asia, and in order to force the Germans to fight, can we invade this? No, we can't. Can we invade this one? Yes, we can. So we're now going to try and invade Borneo. We've got lots of forces here, and let's see what happens. Mine-laying submarines. We can't have auto-loaded DP guns, 5-inch guns. Our troops have invaded Borneo, so they gave in without a fight effectively, and we're winning the submarine war. We don't have any raiders active at the moment. Let's put some raiders in where we can raid the Germans. So I'm putting these 4 ships as raiders, and they will fight the Germans that way. Let's look at what's under construction. We've got a load of ships finishing in 3 moves, and then our financial situation will be a lot better. We can increase our dock size, so we're going to what we think about it. And let's play the next move. Convoy attack. Battle in support of land combat. Well, we're a lot stronger than the Germans there, and they decline battle. Improved model of the torpedo bomber. So speed is the same, range is the same, toughness is more, and that's it. So that's okay by me. Heavy fighting in Borneo. We're winning 85 points to 20. We'd like to build some more subs. We've got a load of submarines that are starting to be built, but we can't complete those until 2 moves time, because otherwise we might run out of money. Battleship engagement, accept. Decline battle. Enemy coastal road. See, they've got 2 battle cruisers here. Are they going to fight us? Maybe they will. If I come into anything that's a lot stronger than me, I'm just going to go into port. But for now, and let's see what they've got. Unknown ship sighted. Let's see what daytime it is. Dusk in 30 minutes. So they've got a ship there, and I've got a load of destroyers. I've got 5 destroyers. They're all ISO class, which have got 2 4-inch and 3 3-inch guns and 4 torpedo tubes. So they're quite old destroyers. We're not enormously bothered if we lose them. It would be nice to sink something with them though. And we've got 2 light cruisers. Again, these are not the world's best light cruisers. They're okay. What have the Germans got? 2 ships. It's a light cruiser and probably a destroyer. So we outnumber them. That's an Undine with a speed of 29 knots and 4 6-inch guns, so that's a very weak ship. Their destroyer doesn't say. Okay. Well, it's slightly faster than them as well, which is good. We're getting close to his light cruiser. He slowed down. He's only doing 20 knots. the Mugabe Ger, which is built in Germany. It's now fighting the Germans. That's been hit 3 times and it scored 6 hits, so that's good. I'm going to move that against their light cruiser. This other light cruiser will also move against their light cruiser. Sinking, oh that's good. So we don't need this one to help in the action. Undine hit by 2 torpedoes. I don't think we're going to be able to get that destroyer. Oh, not a problem. We've got that cruiser and we're going to return to port now. And so that's the end of the scenario, and we sunk 1 light cruiser and we lost a destroyer and 2 auxiliary ships, so that's a gain for us. And we get more victory points. The Navy can fight on if needed. Improved arrestor wires make our aircraft carriers better. Fighter is a private venture. Let's have a look at this fighter. So it's faster, which is good. It's got longer range, which is also good. It's as manoeuvrable, it's slightly less tough, and it's got a better bomb load, so I'm going to have that. And our raiders have sunk some stuff, so have submarines. We're winning the submarine war. Sadly, we lost 2 submarines, which is not good. We're going to want to build some submarines fairly soon, but we can't build them just yet because we'll be able to build the next move when the Yamato completes. So let's press on for the next move. Carrier battle, excellent. So we've got 4 battleships and 4 aircraft carriers in the area. They've got 4 battleships and 5 aircraft carriers in the area. We've got more destroyers, cruisers were ahead, and let's see what happens. 14 destroyers are unable to take part. Attack enemy ships in general. Okay, so let's see where we are. This main force has got 2 aircraft carriers, here and here, and a battleship. And our escape force has got 2 battleships, a division, each in their own division. Okay, and let's see where the enemy are. If we look at our main force, the search pattern is round about here. And if we look at our scout force, the search pattern is also round about here. So they're probably round about there somewhere. So I'm going to have a short range scouting here for the scout force. Okay, and for the main force it's going to be a bit longer range. Search pattern, that's going to be a bit longer range. I'm going to have that up to 400 nautical miles. And so that will catch them if they're in this channel here. So let's play the battle. And the Mutsu can be squadron maximum, and it's going that direction, and the Nagato is also squadron maximum and is going in that direction. So let's zoom in and we'll see what the... Okay, so dusk will be in 7 hours, so it's got a full day battle and it's a good clear sky with a bit of clouds, but otherwise it's an okay clear sky. And it looks like our aircraft are all, from our aircraft carriers, are now airborne. Not spotted anything yet, or at least they've not reported back. We'll probably be spotting something fairly soon if it does happen. We've just spotted something now. What is that? 2 battle cruisers, 3 aircraft carriers. So that's where the enemy is. and we're probably going to get some more reports fairly soon. I think we just need to carry on where we are. Okay, well, we know roughly where we are, so I'm going to launch an airstrike against them. And our other carrier division will do the same thing. Strike exceeds deck load, so we'll get rid of one of these dive bombers. Actually, we'll get rid of the torpedo bomber. Launch strike. No idea how successful that will be. No to keep target, no to keep target. And they've got some more ships down here. That's just a TR, so it looks like their main fleet is closing in on us, and we'll see what happens. This is our aircraft here. And here we've got this one here and this one. They're scouting aircraft that are returning. And they seem to be there. Okay. And we seem to be bombing them. How are we for? I think we can do another strike on them. They're around about here somewhere. I don't know exactly where they are. What time is it until? 50 minutes to dusk. These ships can move this way, and I'm going to start moving my destroyers in a bit faster so that I can search more area. And looking at these ships here, they're just spreading out a little bit so that they can cover more area. Do a better search. Well, okay, I'm going to remove these reports because they're no longer any use to us. And we've no idea where the enemy are. And we've got something on radar. So what's this? This is a radar contact. This can go towards it as well. These ships can go towards it as well. So there's definitely something there, isn't there? Seems to be their whole fleet. Okay. One of our ships has been hit by a torpedo. I'm going to look at our destroyers from our carrier groups. These destroyers I'm now going to give them to the Mutsu, and the other carrier destroyer group, this one will also go to the Mutsu. That can also go in that direction. And what have we got? What's this light cruiser? That also belongs to the carriers. That now belongs to the Mutsu as well. That's a Naniwa. It's a bit of a crappy ship. And what I'm going to do with my carriers, they can go up in that direction. So, okay, so that's our carrier exiting the scene because the carriers aren't really very useful anymore. But their escorts are now going to go into this battle here. And we've got their entire fleet here. Now, one of our ships has been torpedoed. Was it one of these two? Yeah, that's the Katori. We haven't really been able to do anything about that. I think all they can do really is just go away. They've got a very big fleet, haven't they? Fine. That's a destroyer. The Mutsu, I'm not really very happy with having that close to their big ships. A light cruiser is a reasonable thing to have in a destroyer fight, and a destroyer is certainly a reasonable thing to have in a destroyer flight, so that's good. And what have we got here? We've got destroyers here. This is a destroyer. These are destroyers as well. How close are we till dawn? 8 hours, so that's 600. Well, it's 8 times. It's 480, which that battle, it won't have finished elapsing, will it? We may actually be able to fight them in the morning. I think I might do that actually. Yeah, what I'm going to do, if we look at where we are, we've got our forces here. This is our main force. And we've got our scout force here with 2 battleships and our main force with 1 battleship. We've got our aircraft carriers up here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to contain the enemy forces. They appear to have some quite powerful ships during the night, and then I'm going to attack them again during the morning. But anyway, I'm signing off for now. That's the end of episode 17, so I look forward to seeing you on the next episode, and thank you for watching. And again, if you do like my content, please subscribe to my channel and like the video. That's all for now. See you on the next episode.